It's the #2 cause of death worldwide, and it can happen to anyone.
May is National Stroke Awareness Month, so we're going on the record about the signs, the risks, and the latest research.
From WPBF 25, this is On the Record with Todd McDermott and Nathalie Pozo.
Good morning, and thank you for joining us. A stroke can happen anytime, to anyone, at any age. In fact, about 1 in 4 adults over age 25 will have a stroke during their lifetime. Joining me now to talk about this is EMS Chief Sean Gibson with Delray Beach Fire Rescue, who's also a nurse at Delray Medical Center. Chief, thanks for being here today. I appreciate it. So much to get to because you have this twin perspective on stroke care. But let me start by talking about the first steps we should take if someone has a stroke or appears to be having a stroke that we're with, or if we think we're having a stroke. And I know that it starts with dialing 911 and not jumping in the car.
That's correct. If you recognize symptoms of a stroke in someone that you're with, it's very important to, number one, recognize that something's wrong. Number two, if there's something really wrong, then you need to call 911 and get EMS started your way. Because without EMS, you're going to be risking going to the wrong hospital. You may not recognize what's going on, and furthermore, the paramedics that can diagnose and recognize these signs and symptoms and get you to the right facility, you're behind in your timeline if you don't do that. And time is really the essence with strokes, because if you're having a stroke, that means that the brain tissue is not getting oxygenated blood. And when that happens, then that brain tissue starts to die. So if you call 911, you'll get EMS there immediately. They'll recognize the signs and symptoms, and on the way to the hospital, they'll call that hospital and notify them of the situation.
Let's get into when EMS personnel arrive.
Okay.
When a paramedic arrives, because we're going to talk a lot about signs and symptoms here. But what symptoms are you looking for as a paramedic when you arrive at a house and you believe you might have a stroke patient?
Well, as a paramedic, we do what's called a RACE score, and that's a rapid arterial occlusion exam. And what we're looking for is facial symmetry, whether or not the face is drooping. We look for arm drift. We look for leg drift. We look for something called aphasia and agnosia. So if you're not speaking properly or you don't comprehend what we're trying to say, and all of those things add up to a score. So if we have a RACE score that is positive, then we have a stroke alert. And if we have a stroke alert, we're going to take the patient to a comprehensive stroke center in our catchment area. And we're very fortunate in Palm Beach County to have so many comprehensive stroke centers.
So how do you decide which hospital to get to?
Well, if we have a positive RACE score, then we're more than likely going to take that patient to the comprehensive stroke center, where they have interventional neurologists who can put a catheter into your body and fish it up into your brain to find out where that blood vessel is occluded so that they can correct the problem. If we don't have a positive RACE score, then we can probably take the patient to a primary stroke center, which we have them all over the county. So we're very fortunate in Palm Beach County to have so many options and such great care in our county.
Do you get people, when you arrive at a scene, do you get people who are in denial about having a stroke?
Certainly, yeah. And it's one of those things where, fortunately for them, someone around them recognized this problem and they made the decision to call. And so they initiated that chain of survival for us to get there and then start to assess and examine and really determine what the problem is.
How many minutes are we talking about that you need to actually provide the care and help somebody and maybe have the most positive outcome?
Well, certainly you want to get that patient to the stroke center as quick as possible. And there's a window of time that the interventional neurologist will have in order to do their job. We like to get the patient there within 20 minutes. And the national standard for stroke centers is to try and start treatment within an hour of arrival. So a door to needle time is what they use. And that could be either giving something called TPA, which is a clot-busting drug, or getting that patient into the cath lab and getting the interventional neurologist to start doing their work. That's their hallmark sign of success.
Let me explore this twin occupation that you have, because on the one hand, you're providing care right at the scene and getting someone into the hospital, but you're also, as a nurse, providing care within the hospital. What kind of perspective does that give you, because you are on both sides of this?
Well, it allows me as an EMS chief to understand the importance of training for our paramedics so that they know exactly what they're doing when they get on scene. There's nothing more important than identifying those factors that really make up a stroke alert. And when I say stroke alert, that means that they have a positive RACE score and they've met all the criteria in our protocols to allow us to bring them to the stroke center.
And that communication between the team that brings the patient in and the team at the hospital must be just absolutely vital.
Absolutely. One of the most important things we can do is talk to the family or the bystanders there and ask them how long these symptoms have been going on, because that allows the interventional neurologist at the hospital to really identify how long they have in order to do their job. And that's very important for family and friends to know that when you call 911, try to remember how long it's been since those symptoms started, because that's something we're going to have to provide to the doctors and nurses at the hospital when we arrive.
I want to thank you again for coming in, but also thank you for both of the occupations you have, helping patients on both sides of this. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Sean Gibson, thanks again.
Thanks a lot.
Coming up, my co-anchor Nathalie Pozzo talks with a neurologist about the common signs of stroke that we all do need to know.
You're watching On the Record on WPBF 25.
We continue our talk this morning about Stroke Awareness Month. We want to bring in Dr. Dennis Reyes. He's an interventional neurologist at Delray Medical Center. Dr. Reyes, thank you so much for being here with us this morning. So let's first talk about the common signs and the symptoms of stroke and why it's so important to recognize those right away.
Yeah, so first of all, stroke being a very common scenario where 700,000 people suffer stroke a year, and every 40 seconds somebody suffering a stroke. Something to worry about, right? So typical symptoms will be having weakness on one side of the body, losing sensation, losing vision, losing speech, or having slurred speech. So we use a mnemonic called BFAST, where B stands for balance, E stands for eyes when there's vision loss, and then F stands for face in case there's a facial weakness, A stands for arm in case there's arm weakness, S stands for speech in case the patient's having slurred speech or problem communicating or even understanding the word. And then T stands for time because we want them to call 911. We want the family, grandkids, everybody in the family to be aware of these symptoms so they can call 911 right away. So there's a response right away.
I mean, time is really critical here, right? I mean, a few minutes could really mean a big difference.
Yeah, it says in the literature that approximately every minute we're losing approximately 1 million neurons due to ischemic stroke, due to lack of blood flow to a part of the brain, yeah.
So what does a stroke look like in the body?
So typical scenario, such as like here, for example, a clot blocking a vessel on the left side of the brain where the functions on the left side of the brain are typical comprehension, speech, then you have a person not doing any of that. They'll be completely aphasic, not talking at all, not able to understand the word, completely paralyzed on the right side of the body, not moving arm or leg, and actually paying attention more to the left side than the right side. They'll be staring to the left side. So that'll be someone with severe stroke-like symptoms. Okay,
I want to get back to this display here because there's some procedures that are being treated, that are being used right now for strokes, and it has to do with this here, so can you kind of take us through it?
That's correct, yeah. So this is a flow model from Penumbra that help us, and basically what it's showing is a clot in color green, focused right here in the vessel. This will be the head, theoretically, and the heart is right here in our body. So this clot happens to be blocking the flow on the left side of the brain and causing the symptoms on a patient like we just spoke about. So we go with catheters like this, and then we navigate through the groin over here, we navigate these catheters all the way through the highways of the body up to the big artery that is blocked. And right there we suction. We connect the catheter to a pump machine, believe it or not, and we suction the clot out of the way and restore the blood flow back to the left side of the brain as quick as possible.
Is this before, during, or after a stroke?
Well, that will be in the process of the stroke, and that's why we want to get it done as quick as possible, give the best chance to the patient. Time is of the essence. Yeah.
Is this a new procedure?
No, it's been around for a long time now. It's just that fortunately every year we get new catheters. Most of, they're really good catheters, and they're flexible, they're easy to navigate, and they're helping, getting patients better quicker.
Yeah. What other advancements have there been when it comes to strokes?
So when it comes to strokes, well, we do the scans that we typically do, looking at perfusion, how the blood flow is in the brain right before we treat the patients, but also we give clot buster medication. It's called TPA. There's a new medication now called TNK, but we only have 4.5 hours to give it. So patient needs to arrive to the emergency room in 4.5 hours, and less than that period of time. We do a plain scan. If there's no bleed, then the patient can get the medication. So TNK is a new medication that's being used nowadays. Yeah.
Dr. Reyes, when you see your patients, what's one of the most, I guess, common things that you see when someone is going through a stroke? Was it not maybe recognizing the symptoms? Was it thinking, hey, I thought something else was happening,
Right.
not a stroke?
Well, you see all type of gray zones. There are mild stroke symptoms where patients don't think nothing happened with them, and they go to sleep and try to sleep it off. That's the worst thing you could do. You just go to the ER, get checked, make sure things are fine. But then there's the worst scenario when patients are not even capable of understanding what's happening with them, because they don't even comprehend. They don't have the capacity to comprehend. And if they fall on the ground, they can't even reach out for their cell phone or to call 911. So they're depending on family members and friends, or even a neighbor, to call 911 for them.
Does the severity of the stroke all depend on the clot?
It can. Multiple factors play in place. The size of the vessel. It could be, if it's a small vessel, typically you might have some like mild to moderate stroke-like symptoms with weakness, but you still might be able to understand what's happening with you. But a vessel like this, completely shutting down the left side of the brain, typically not. The patients, they would not even remember what's happening with them. I have patients where they go through the whole procedure, 24 hours, and they come to my office and say, I don't remember what happened to me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. What message do you want to just give out to people? What's the number one thing you want to let them know?
Be aware about the mnemonic, the BFAST, and educate family members, educate friends and neighbors, and be aware of risk factors such as controlling blood pressure, cholesterol, sugar, not smoking, not drinking alcohol, and following the primary care physician to make sure everything is in line.
All right, be fast. You heard it there. Thank you so much, Dr.
Thank
Reyes,
you.
for being here with us this morning. Next, my co-anchor Todd McDermott talks to a survivor who now pays it forward.
Welcome back. Joining us now is Stu Hochran, who's a stroke survivor, now manages a stroke survivor support group at St. Mary's Medical Center in West Palm Beach. Mr. Hochran, first, I need to hear your story because you are so hale and hearty now. Tell us the story of your stroke and your survival.
I have no memory of anything that happened the day of my stroke or the entire first week in the hospital, other than what my wife tells me. And she said that she'd come home one afternoon. I was fine. I was lying in bed because I was throwing up the night before. And she was waiting inside, and she said, heard me making noises, thought I was throwing up again. She came in, she said that I couldn't speak, I couldn't raise my left arm, my left leg. She immediately called 911. They came in and immediately said I was having a stroke. They took me to St. Mary's, which is the Comprehensive Stroke Center. They brought me right through the waiting room, no waiting, took me in for a CT scan. They saw where the clot was. The technician asked my wife how long it's been since she discovered it. I was within the window to get the TPA shot, so they were able to give it to me. It breaks up the clot. The world-famous interventional neurologist, Dr. Malik, was waiting for me in the OR, took the clot out. My wife said in recovery, all my functions were back.
Wow. Now, I want to point out, you're an active man. You were a ski instructor,
Yes, I am.
and this came as a complete surprise to you. You were a healthy man.
I thought so. I mean, the first thing I remember is waking up one morning and there was a neurologist standing next to my bed. that I know since he's an infant. And he's on the phone with his mother, whom I was dating before I met my wife. I said, Brett, where am I? He said, St. Mary's. I said, what is St. Mary's? He said, it's a hospital. I said, why am I here? He said, you had a stroke. I had a stroke. He said, if Dr. Malik hadn't done what he did, when he did, you'd be totally paralyzed or dead now. I totally freaked out.
What was the recovery like going forward from that day?
Several days later, the interventional neurologist came in to see me, Dr. DePrima, and said they were having a stroke support group meeting that night. He was the guest speaker. He invited my wife and I to go. She took me down in the wheelchair. As soon as she took me through the door to the room, I knew my life was going to change. I saw these people walking and talking and laughing. They had a stroke 5 years ago, 10 years ago. I said to myself, if they could get better, so could I.
And how many years ago did you suffer this stroke?
August will be 8 years.
8 years, and in meeting you, I would never thought that you had had a stroke. How are you all the way back? Are you just like you were before?
Well, I still have some weaknesses on my left side, but nobody other than my wife would notice it.
And how did this, you said about the initial procedure that it restored all your functions. What else did you have to do in the days that followed?
Well, they put me in rehab. I went to rehab for a couple of days. Then they released me and put me in outpatient rehab for 4 months, twice a week. And I got back most of my ability to walk, run. And while I was in the hospital, they didn't know what caused my stroke. So they put a loop recorder in my chest to see if it was an AFib, which is what they thought might have caused it. 1 year after I got out of the hospital, I had the AFib. They brought me in and put me on a blood thinner called Eliquis and told me I can't go skiing anymore because if you fall and have any internal bleeding, it could be serious. So what happens? That night, my wife and I were watching TV, and I said, what did I just see? I rewinded. It was an ad for Eliquis of a guy skiing. But 3 years later, I'm in my neurologist's examining room. He comes in. He doesn't say hello, doesn't ask how I am. He says, it's October. Are you going skiing anytime soon? I said, only when you let me. He said, have fun and bring back lots of pictures. I was on the next plane to Vail.
That is a very nice story. That's good to hear. Oh. Now, tell me about the work you do as a volunteer at St. Mary's Medical Center with this stroke survivor support group. What is that like? What does that provide for the people who partake of it?
Every time we have a meeting, everybody always reintroduces themselves because there's always new people there. We talk about what we've been through and how we've overcome it.
Tell me, coming from where you came as a stroke survivor, what is it like to guide other people who have just suffered a stroke through the process? It must be rewarding for you.
Very. It makes me feel good. It makes them feel good. And as a ski instructor, I always had kids in my class. I'd have one kid who was always better than all the rest. I'd put a star on his cheek. All the other kids got better much faster. When I see my patients and they tell me they want to and they will get better, I put stars on their cheek. And they give me big smiles, and I get hugs and kisses from the family all the time. And I can't tell you how many times doctors will come up to me in the hospital and say, hi, Stu, I saw some of your patients last week. I said, how do you know they were my patients? They're wearing stars.
This really, as you said at the top, this experience really changed your life.
Oh, absolutely. And being a volunteer there is the least I could do to pay them back for saving my life.
Stu Hochran, thank you for sharing your story.
My pleasure.
So glad you're here.
Me too.
Thanks for going on the record.
Thank
We'll be
you.
right back.
As you heard our guest say, knowing the signs and symptoms is crucial. Thank you so much for making us a part of your morning.
And as always, we encourage you to be part of our discussion each and every Sunday. We're always here, right here at 10 a.m. And until the next time, you can watch this morning's On the Record episode and all our episodes on our website, WPBF.com. Shows are also available on our free WPBF 25 News app. Matter of Fact with Sol O'Brien is next. We hope you have a terrific Sunday. See you again next week.